Hey everyone, today I'm doing day 3 of the Neopagan November challenge, and today's kind of prompt is spice. Hey everyone, my name is Lucas, and spice was a little bit of a bounce around for me. I'll kind of be showing you my train of thought coming up with today's topic. It went spice, and I'm going to date myself here, but Spice Up Your Life, the song by the Spice Girls, and then it went spice up your life in love. So I thought today I might share a traditional spell with you from my ancestral practice. So this spell is going to be one that calls forth a person into your life with specific attributes and kind of draws them towards you, filling them with love and desire. Now, I know there is some controversy out there about love spells and how they're unethical, so if this isn't for you, then it isn't for you. But for those who are interested, stick around. Also, it's just a spell specific to my practice and family, so feel free to change, tweak, or alter it any way you'd like to suit you and your way of doing things. So let's get started. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up your ritual or spell casting space however you would normally do that. Cast a circle if that's your thing, or whatever you like to do to set up your ritual space. Now I have here 2 pieces of driftwood that I found, and I use these as kind of a gateway space when doing workings, because water is seen as a liminal or gateway type substance in Celtic tradition. But basically just set up the space however you'd like. This is just how I do it, so you do you. Next you're going to want to gather your ingredients. So what you're going to need is 4 candles, some heather buds, a simple poppet made out of either wood or botanicals. You're going to need some twine, an apple cut in half, and some pins or nails. And lastly, you're just going to need yourself. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place all 4 candles in the corners of the working space that you're going to be using, so that if you were to put some twine in between them, they would create an X. Now, like I said, I haven't actually done this because I don't have enough candles to do that, but also I'm not actively casting this spell, so I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But next you would want to place your poppet in the center of the working space. Now, this is just a simple poppet that I've created in a very traditional style out of oak. Now, oak, or dŵr, is one of the Celtic ogham. And the reason why I used oak is because I'm looking to draw in some of the associations of oak into this working. I'm looking for this person to be strong, bright, warm, protective, safe, joyful, and abundant. Now, feel free to incorporate different woods or botanicals into this poppet that you're making for yourself. Just correspond with the type of person that you're looking to draw to yourself. Then you're going to want to grab your heather. Now, heather is also one of the Celtic ogham, also known as ura. And heather is known as the flower of passion, and it's going to pull some of that passion, love, and sensuality into this working. Now, take those heather buds and sprinkle them around, drawing a spiral and kind of like spiraling that energy into the poppet for this working. Next, you're going to want your apple. Now, apples are often associated with magic and enchantment, as well as with love. There are many old tales of She having used enchanted apples to lure people into love or under their control. There's also associations with new beginning as well as immortality. So we're going to draw on those aspects of love, enchantment, the beginning of something new, and that never-endingness to create this beautiful kind of long-term relationship for this working. Now, the reason why we're cutting it in two is that one half is going into the working and the other half is staying with you. And this is going to be a symbolic and literal kind of two halves of the same whole. Now, grab one half of your apple and grab some of your pins. And what you're going to do is you're going to begin to push the pins into the center of the apple. Like that. Now, I'm not going to show you all of it, otherwise that'll be like super long. So what you're doing here is you're pushing those pins into the heart of the matter, and you're making sure to have clear pathways to the center of the heart. And the symbol or shape that we're making out of the pins is the solar cross. Now, we're using the solar cross because we're pulling in that fiery passion, warmth, fertility, and power of the sun that the sun brings us, and we're adding that into our spell as well. So once that's done, you're going to place the piece of apple over the heart area of the poppet and bind it to the poppet with twine. And by binding it to the poppet, you're binding that magic to that person. You're binding that magic to the poppet to pull it towards you, and you're calling that towards yourself. Now, here's when things can get a little bit icky for some people. Traditionally, what happens next is that you would give a piece of yourself to the poppet to create a connection between you and it, so that the magical working can draw this person to you specifically. Now, traditionally what you would do is you would anoint the poppet with a very specific bodily fluid, which would be different for males and females, or people in between. But while collecting this fluid, you would use the energy generated from that action to aid the spell. This can be a little uncomfortable for some people, as some people are ace, or some people just don't want to incorporate that aspect into their practice, which is totally fine. But if you're looking to replace this specific part of the spell, I can suggest swapping it out for anointing it with maybe an oil, a spell oil, or a powder specifically for love and passion. But the reason why I include the bodily fluid is that is traditionally how the spell is cast, and I didn't want to leave that part out. Once that's finished, it's time to incant and enchant. There is a specific incantation for the spell that I won't share, as it's very personal and very specific to my family and path. But at this time, you can speak words of power and pour your energies into the spell to charge it up. Give it lots of juice, and just put your intention in there of drawing this person, this perfect relationship to yourself, and charge that up and make it all good and saturated. Now, if you'd like, you can incorporate other items into the spell as well, placing them in between the apple . Now, if you'd like, you can incorporate a few other items into the spell as well, placing them in between the apple and the poppet. You can place tag locks for a specific person, like hair or nails or clothing, just tucked in behind here. You can also write a petition and fold it up and place it in between, or you can create sigils or bind runes, or whatever you'd like to aid in the casting of your spell. to add in additional energies or different aspects of the person that you're trying to attract. Once the poppet is made, you would then traditionally take it to a river, stream, or some other body of water, and you would baptize it. And by baptizing it in the water, it gives it life and infuses it with the liminality and energies of the other world, typically found in water. Now, that's not usually something that I do. Typically what I do is I go to the river and I collect some river water beforehand, and I bring it home. That way I have it so I don't have to leave and then come back. And then I do the baptism at my house. If you're not wanting to use river water or anything like that, you can use specific types of energized water like moon water, storm water, snow water, etc. But it's really up to you, whatever you like to do. So once the casting is complete, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your puppet and you're going to want to hang it either on, above, or beneath your bed. And you're going to take the other half of the apple and you're going to keep that with you. That way, that person you're calling forth is always going to be drawn towards you. Now, you might work right away, or it might take some time, so be patient. And every day, just focus on your half of the apple and use that same incantation or those same words of power and focus on drawing the two pieces of that apple together and making them whole once more. And that's it. An ancestral love spell. If you like this video, please think about subscribing, as I try to post magical content fairly regularly, and I would love to see you around. If you tried this spell and it worked for you, let me know down below in the comments, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer them. And as always, guys, may your path always be an interesting one, as there's nothing worse than being bored. Have a good one.